Hi guys, welcome to another Vlogmas video, and today we're going to try something a little bit new. We're going to be tier ranking all of the books that I've read this year. I'm not going to go into too much depth behind them. This is kind of just like a fun concept, and I kind of just want to go through them quickly because I will talk about them more in depth, hopefully, later on. So, without further ado, let's get started. Let me make sure my computer's recording. Should we go over our categories? So we have, I remember it because it was so bad. Then we have a recommendation for someone you hate. Then we have I was waiting for you to be great. I feel like that's mid, pretty fair. Then we have low-key slaps, and then we have injected into my veins. So, first book, Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. I'm going to put low-key slaps because it did. I enjoyed my time. It was the first book of this year. I feel like it set the standard pretty high. Next, we have Picking Daisies on a Sunday. If you watch my 5-star reads, I love this book. Should I put Inject It into my veins? Because it was good. I don't know. I know what you're thinking. How can you not want to inject a 5-star read into your veins? I'm gonna have I'm gonna put it at low-key slaps, but like it still reserves the right to possibly move up later on in the video. I don't know. Practice makes perfect. You know what? I think I gave this around 4 stars. Something like that. It wasn't bad. I wish it was a category in between low-key slaps and I was waiting for you to be great. Because I'm waiting for you to be great. It seems a little bit harsh for this one. But low-key slaps is a little bit too high. I'm going to put it in I was waiting for you to be great. But it was close. I just think, if you know anything about the book, the pirate talk kind of threw me off a little bit. My Roommate is a Vampire. Low-key slaps. It's hilarious. It's actually so funny. And the sequel, like the next book about the vampire's best friend, I'm reading that next year. I already have it. Low-key slaps. When in Rome. You know what? This book kind of made me realize, and practice makes perfect, that I like small town romance. I'm going to have to put it in slaps because this one was like a normal, good romance. This one was a little bit quirky. This was for the quirky girls. And this one was a little bit more, I feel like, niche. You know what I'm talking about? Like with the pirates. It's like a telenovela type of vibe. And this one's just like a regular, I don't know how to explain it without sounding kind of mean. But like, truth be told, I just prefer that one a little bit more. Check and Mate. Oh, I don't remember what I rated this. And I'm going to put it in I was waiting for you to be great. Because low-key, I remember kind of thinking that no teenagers that I know talk like this. And like, I don't know. It was just kind of a weird vibe, but I didn't hate it. But I expected more, you know. Bride by Ellie Hazelwood. Low-key slaps, but the ending is a little weird. You know, like I didn't really need all the intricate details. I've always said that. But her paranormal, whatever this is called, romance, the plot ate. It was really good. Final author. You know what? I didn't hate it, but it can't go in low-key slaps. I was waiting for you to be great. I really liked. It's not a bad book. I would recommend it, especially since it's the 3rd book in the series. I really liked the overall principles. I liked Cal. I liked Alana. But there's nothing calling to me, you know, for it to go in the low-key slaps. My sister's about to take a shower, so I apologize for the noise. Hold on. Next, we have One Dark Window. Slaps. Low-key, high-key slaps. I'm ready to read the next one. I really am. I've said this multiple times. The only thing that stopped me from picking up the next one immediately is it has multiple POVs. And you just have to be ready for that in a fantasy book. Magnolia Parks. I was waiting for you to be great. I'm sorry. I know this is really a beloved book, but I kind of spoiled the ending for myself. And I don't know. I feel like I get it. Because this is how people feel about this book is how I feel about After, you know? Like, it falls into the same genre of, like, drama and like you can feel like these are real people. Like if you were to go to where they live, like you would expect to see them. It just wasn't my cup of tea. Maybe I'll like Daisy Hates more, and I do plan on reading Daisy Hates and the rest of the series. It's just not something I'm immediately gonna go to, and I was so sick of BJ and Magnolia. Like so sick of them. Next, The Love Everybody Wants. This is a Christian romance book. Or Christian romance. This is just like a Christian book about love. I have thoughts and I have opinions. I read this in February, or like I finished it towards the end of February, maybe beginning of March. And I really don't know where I want to rank this because it's about somebody's life. So I don't think that I'm going to rank it at all. We'll just move it over here. I would definitely recommend for girls to read it because I think that there are good principles. But I think that when you're giving advice, at least, you have to be really careful about what you say because it can definitely hurt people, and the decisions that you make can hurt people. And so I'll just leave it at that. Next, we have Beach Read. Low-key, it's either going to go and inject it into my veins or low-key slaps. It's one of my 5-star reads, but I like it because of the women fiction. I don't really remember it because of the romance. If you know anything about Beach Read, there's these letters, and that's all I'll say. Those kind of change the way that I think. So I would inject that part of it, like the women's fiction part of it, into my veins, but like the romance was a low-key type of thing. Like, it was okay. I'm gonna have to put it in low-key slaps. I know. Dang. Being brutal. People we meet on vacation... I was waiting for you to be great. Like, there's nothing wrong with it per se, but there's nothing that great about it either, you know? If we ever meet again, high-key slaps. High-key slaps. Like, I know I have to put it in low-key, but, like, the book was actually pretty good. I actually kind of fricked with it, but I would have injected it into my veins. Maybe I should have had... Because I don't really hate books like that. But I made those two categories. Maybe I should have moved this one. I was waiting for you to be great. And then this one should be low-key slaps. And then this one should be high-key slaps. Should I change it real quick? Because a recommendation for someone you hate. Do I have any? I don't know. If I need to change it at the end, I will. Like if I don't put any books here, then I'll go back and change it. Powerful. Injected into my veins. Injected into my veins. I don't know what the author's purpose is for writing this novella. I find it kind of cruel. And it's one of the best things that I've ever read. And anything that can make you feel emotions like that, injected into my veins. Now, Reckless. I was waiting for you to be great. Are we shocked? Are we shocked? I'm not sure if it's because it's kind of like a building block, stepping stone for Fearless, which is the 3rd book in the series, or what. But, I mean, I feel like the author probably thought that the ending was going to be a shocker. I feel like either a lot of people saw it coming, or you're like me where I didn't even think that it was that was going to be the ending, because I just thought that was, like, I thought that we all saw it coming, you know? Like, I think that there's 2 categories. You either knew it was coming, or you were like me and you didn't know that it was coming, but not because it wasn't an option, just because it was like the most obvious thing you could have done. So I feel like if she would have had a different ending, I could have put it in low-key slaps. But also, like, the banter, like, we bantered too freaky much, you know? Like, I never thought I would say that, but Kai and Peyton were actually making me mad. If the Sun Never Sets. Okay, this is the next book, and this low-key slaps. It's not as... If I could divide it, this one would be a low-key slaps. This one's a high-key slap. This one's a high-key slap. High-key. 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 So maybe I should just change it to high-key slaps. I mean, they're all high-key slaps. Whatever. You get what I'm saying? Like, yeah. It was okay. Like, I liked it. But it's a continuation of the story. But low-key, there's 4 books in this little, like, interconnected series. Because the first one was so good, it kind of set up for the rest of them, no matter what. I feel like I would just put them in the low-key slaps. Because it's, like, found family. It takes place in an academic setting. The first book. The first book and a little bit of the second one. Like, it's good. Call it what you want. Now, this one is going to go into low-key slaps. but it is not at all what I expected. It's so good. I think that if you are a college girl, maybe like end of high school, college, you should read this book because it has a really, really great message in there. And I feel like the message behind toxic relationships in this book is so realistic and so good. I would recommend for anyone who is going through that, struggling with that, maybe they just got out of it, read it because it's so good. I actually really liked it, but it kind of made me sick to my stomach while I was reading it because I was like, you know how you're like, oh my gosh, I hope that doesn't happen. But I love the way that she ended it, low-key. Okay. King of Wrath. Oh, this is so hard. Low-key, I wasn't waiting for it to be great. Like, it is what it is, you know. But it wasn't my favorite, like, premise. But, like, here's the thing. The romance was okay. The plot line was okay. So maybe I was waiting for you to be great. But, like, there's really nothing else she could have done, the author could have done to make me like it. It just was okay. Flawless, low-key slaps. Low-key slaps. It's the first book of the series. I feel like it did a really good job considering the weight that it had on its shoulders. It has to carry, or set a high enough standard to carry the rest of the books. Heartless. This is not a 5-star read, and this is really going to confuse some people. I can't inject it into my veins. Like, it's good. Like, it's kind of like one step away, like Picking Daisies and Beach Read. It's one step away. And if you ask me what it could do to be better, it's just one of those things where you get a 5-star. It's not a 5-star because I was missing the feeling, and the other ones are not injected into my veins because it's missing a feeling. Like, you know, so like technically this is 2 steps away, but the other ones are 1 step away. But I really liked it. Like, I have no complaints. I just think there were some things writing style wise that I didn't really like that the author did. But yeah. Beautiful Disaster, injected into my veins. Injected into my veins. I'd eat it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Love, love, love. Almost Beautiful. Low-key slaps. And then A Beautiful Wedding, injected into my veins. Okay? It's like kind of, I feel like towards the end of this book, the first half is definitely injected into my veins. Second half, no. I do like A Beautiful Wedding, though. I can't lie. It's pretty good. Now we have Powerless. Recommend for someone you hate. It just wasn't my cup of tea. There was no emotional connection. They're supposed to be friends. They kept making the joke that they were cousins. Like, it just wasn't for me. You know? And I feel like that's okay. I feel like that's okay. Maybe. Next, we have Reckless. Injected into my veins. I think about Theo and Winter a lot. A lot, a lot, a lot. I actually really love them. I really do. And I think that Theo Silva has quickly become one of my top tier boyfriend, injected into my vein boyfriends, obviously. A Novel Love Story. Now, I gave this one 3 stars. And I know what you're thinking. I remember it because it was so bad. This should not equal 3 stars. But this book ranking is off of, like, vibes. Okay, vibes. It doesn't have to make sense to you or to my Goodreads. It has to make sense up here. And let me tell you why. I literally remember this book because I felt like the character was having this cognitive dissonance, this conflict. And she wouldn't let you forget the fact that our main character borderline, like, it truly doesn't make sense. And I know that's that element of magical realism, but like, I just found it to be a little bit distressing because I was like, you won't let us forget it. We can't forget it. Therefore, I can't even enjoy the romance because you keep bringing up this big fact that like makes it kind of weird, you know, like, basically, the concept of the book is what happens if you stumble into one of your favorite romance books and then you find, like, a love interest. Well, obviously, it's a cute concept, But like when you start thinking about the logistics of it, is he real? And she wouldn't let us forget the fact. He wouldn't let us forget that it was just messy until the end. And the writing, I mean, the writing was okay. I don't know. It just wasn't my cup of tea. I couldn't get into the story because our main character kept pulling me out of it. Assistant to the Villain, injected into my veins. I was giggling and squealing like a little girl. I love that book. It's so good. It's giving Henry Cavill. It's giving Tangled. It's giving. Like, I really did enjoy it. Nothing like the movies. Injected into my veins. If you watch my 5-star videos, you know how I feel about this. I feel like Lynn Painter portrayed heartbreak perfectly. And I'll leave it at that. Apprentice to the Villain. You know what? This one low-key slaps because although it was still good, it got kind of annoying with all the POVs. And I feel like we have more questions now that we need answered than we did at the beginning. Like, we got no answers throughout book 2. And book 3 is not out yet. So imagine my surprise. Imagine my annoyance when I'm flipping through and I'm like, we're at the end. And we have more questions. More mysteries to solve. That's Not My Name. Low-key slaps. I was scared. This is a YA thriller. I can never walk to the mailbox the same. If you've read this book, then you know what I'm referencing. I truly was baffled, and the only reason I could not inject this book into my veins is because that's scary. But it's really, really good. I read this for book club. Me and my friends talk about it constantly. I don't think any of us live life the same after reading this book. Pumpkin Spice Cafe, injected into my veins. Listen, once again, we're going off vibes alone. We're going off vibes alone. It doesn't have to make sense. Because I said the writing was bad. The writing was bad. But the overall story of it, love it. Small town vibes, love it. I'm loving Dream Harbor. The book that I'm reading right now is A Christmas Tree Farm. Love it. The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore, injected into my veins. I actually really love this book. I feel like she got better and more comfortable with her writing style. I love the characters. I feel like I connected to both of them. I love the fact that our main girl character is a bookstore owner. The vibes were high, but I will say, the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore, the cover is giving fall. This is 1989 coded by Taylor Swift. And once I understood that, and lucky for me, I loved the vault tracks of that album. I was down bad. I was giggling and kicking my feet, having a good time. Hopeless, I was waiting for you to be great. I was waiting for you to be great. You had all the principles, you had all the elements to be great, and yet you chose not to be, and that's all I can say. Wild Love, oh, this is really going to tick some people off. Recommend to someone you hate. I just feel like it was kind of a waste of my time. Not going to lie to you guys. I feel like I was lied to, tricked, and played because I don't know. Once again, it kind of had all the elements. I just didn't connect with it. I think if I can't connect to the female main character, then it's hard for me. And I feel like our female main character here, there was this beautiful backstory set up to be told where she would be like this great conqueror and like overcome all these things that happened to her. And I feel like that just didn't happen. The main male character rescued her and we never got to see any growth with her. And I don't know if that's fair. I don't know if that's right. But that's how I felt. Now, Kingdom of the Wicked. Y'all are going to... listen. Vibes alone. I don't agree with the premise of the book. But I've never met a fantasy that I don't like. Notice how there's no fantasies down here that I don't like. Except for Reckless. Reckless is the lowest. But... I still gave it like 4 stars. Kingdom of the Wicked low-key slaps. I don't agree with the premise of the book, but we're not talking about that. We're going off of vibes. If I did not have the morals, that sounds bad. There's no good way to say it. If I was not who I am, then I would read the second one. But because of who I am not going to read the second one or the third one. I don't think I am. I just feel like it glorifies hell and demons and sin a little too much for me. And I feel like there's a very fine line between like fantasy and like, okay, it's not real. Obviously, most of the stuff is not real. It doesn't bother me. Especially like if you're thinking about like Percy Jackson, Greek gods. we learned about those when I was in middle school, and I went to a private middle school. It's just like Greek mythology, and I understood at a very young age. I was like, okay, those aren't true gods. That's not the God that I serve. This, however, when you start flipping it over and you get to the other like demonic realm, I just can't frick with it, you know? Like, whatever. Oh, we're at the last book anyways. The last book is How My Neighbor Stole Christmas. I remember it because it was so bad. This is the only book that I've ever rated 1 stars. I think ever. I finally understand when people are like, this book put me into a book slump. I don't think I've ever truly been in a book slump because of, I think reading books is such a hobby to me, and such like, it's not, I don't do it for work. I purely do it for fun. If I don't want to do it, there are 1,000 other things that I would do. It's like the way that I get burnout with studying. That happens quite often. But with reading, like, that's not, I don't really get put into a book slump because I'll close it and put it down. But this was our latest book club book, so I couldn't put it down. Like, I had to finish it, and I actually despised almost everything about the book except for the conflict resolution, which if you watch my hosting a book club vlog, me and Caitlin talked about it. It just wasn't for me. I think that like I said, I really love connecting to the female main character. She was childish to me. I feel like it was true. I will say one positive thing. It was true enemies to lovers, because the main guy character was so mean. I was like, girl, at what point are you gonna cry? Because I would have been cried. I would have been cried if he would have said any of the things to me that he said to her. I would have never talked to him again. I would have literally just like, anytime he came my way, I would have turned around and went the other way. Like, I would have given him no chances. None. You hear me? And yeah, it was just a tough read for me. I hated the narration of it too. Like, at the beginning of each chapter, you have like this narration and it's supposed to rhyme, and it's kind of like the Grinch movie. Literally, that's what it's trying to give. And it irritated me so much. And yeah, I'm really disappointed in these two, especially a novel love story, because the premise is so good. I'm still gonna give her other writing a chance, because a lot of people that read the 7-Year Slip and the Dead Romantics did not like a novel love story. So maybe it was just something with this, but I'm gonna give the other two a chance. Brief intermission. This is editing Erica. I did forget 2 books, so I'm gonna quickly Cruel Winter with You, Low-Key Slaps, and All by My Elf. Recommend to someone you hate. So let's go over it. A Cruel Winter with You, and this is like part of like a, I don't know, like a 5-part, it's 5 short stories, like, but they don't have anything to do with each other. I think the authors just released them together. It's kind of like a little package deal, and it's on Kindle Unlimited and audiobooks. Cruel Winter with You by Allie Hazelwood. It was good. Like, I actually really enjoyed it. And I think I wanted to give it 5 stars, but I was like, it's a short story. So no, I think I gave it like 4 something. And I know I said stars don't really count for this one, but I feel like high up enough, like the vibes, the stars, they all align. So that's why I said low-key slaps. All by My Elf, let's just say I was reading to read, you know? Like, it kind of didn't make sense. I've never read anything by this author either, but it just wasn't my cup of tea. Yeah, okay. Back to the video. But yeah, this is my book ranking for the year. Powerless, Wild Love. Once again, a recommendation for someone you hate. I didn't love them. I kind of found them useless, and a waste of my time. I had to get through them to continue the series. This is in the Chestnut Springs. This is the first book of, I don't even know, what did they call it? What is this one called? I don't know. But yeah, these, once again, once you get into these two, there's nothing per se wrong with them. We just weren't vibing, you know? Especially this one. Like, I was just waiting for you to be great, and you just never reached that. But I would definitely recommend any of these to people who want to read them. They just weren't super duper high up on the list. Low-key slaps, I would recommend these to people. And once again, as you saw, I had a few moments where I really wanted to inject them into my veins. This one, if I had to pick one to move up, I would probably move up Allie Hazelwood, honestly, because it was a really good book. Or I would move up Picking Daisies on a Sunday or Beach Read. These are my 5 stars right here. And they're looking low. And yeah, like I said, it doesn't matter about what I rated them. I feel like when I rate stuff, I go off of writing. This could not, and I'll tell you, I'll go through these, why some of these books are not a 5-star. This is 5 stars. This is 6 stars. These are 6 stars. This is 5 stars, so it makes sense. Assistant to the Villain was really close. I think it was like a 4.75. I didn't give it 5 stars because when you read books very back-to-back, I read this one and the second one very back-to-back. I think I only had Nothing Like the Movies in between them. It was novel. It was a new idea. It was a new concept, but I wasn't obsessed with it, you know? Like, I think about it. I would recommend it. I love it. But I wasn't obsessed to the point where I was, like, building Pinterests and saving TikToks and, like, thinking about it and, like, oh, my heart, you know? And that's a 5-star rating for me. Nothing Like the Movies is 5 stars. This Pumpkin Spice Cafe could not get a 5-star rating because of the writing style. It was one of the first books where I was like, this is actually really bad. It's actually really bad. But Redemption, because the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore, I would have given it a 5-star. But it didn't have the same feeling. Like, I did a little bit of it, but not enough for it to be a 5-star. Definitely not enough for it to be a 6-star. So, I think that was also like I think this was like a 4.5. And this is like a 4.75. I can't really remember. But we'll go through all of that when I go through my, like, good notes from my Goodreads for the year. But that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today, and I hope you enjoyed this. Comment down below if any of these books were your favorite of the year, or if you think I got anything wrong. And just let me know what you think, and I will see you guys literally tomorrow for another Vlogmas video. Bye! It's not reckless. I was waiting for you to be great. Are we shocked?